Most of us have two lives, the life we live and the unlived life within us. Between the two stands resistance. What's up, everybody? Bootsy Greenwood here, and I want to talk to you about the two types of resistance. There's a book called The War of Art by Steven Pressfield, and it is a banger. It's a great book. Highly recommend it. He talks a lot about resistance in the book. He says that resistance is directly proportional to love. If you didn't love the project that is terrifying you, you wouldn't feel anything. The more resistance you experience, the more important your unmanifested project is to you, and the more gratification you will feel when you finally do it. Now, resistance has a lot in common with fear. They're different, but they're similar. They're both big-time markers. They point a direction, right? What is it that you're resistant to? You've heard what you resist persists. Very, very true. That's a lot what he's talking about. He's talking a lot about doing our work here too. And what I want to talk to you about is the difference between the type of resistance that you feel when you need to do something and the type of resistance that you feel when you need to stop doing something. Now, the resistance that you feel when you need to do something is actually pushing you deeper and deeper into your purpose. Okay? Fear, getting to the deepest part of ourselves, killing it here with the markers. I'm taking a drawing class right now, if you can't tell. David Data in The Way of the Superior Man says that we should find our purpose by riding our edge. And this is about masculinity, right? It's not about any gender. It's really about our deepest purpose, finding out who we are at a deep, deep level. Now, getting to these layers and riding that edge, taking it from this layer of fear to the next layer through our comfort zone and expanding it a little bit at a time. We might be afraid of failure. That would be a reason to do something. We might be afraid of being found out. That would be a reason to do something. We might be afraid of success, which would also be a reason to do the thing. Okay? He's talking about in this book how doing our work is very difficult just because we have to kind of like trudge through it. And to start the work, once you start it, it's actually pretty easy, right? If that's writing, let's say. So think about it like this. I have a friend who's an actress, and she knows what her work is. Her work is to audition several times over, as often as she possibly can. That's her work. When she gets the part, that's she did her job right, and she gets the work, right? So that's the carrot on the end of the stick. So to think of it in comedy terms, it would be like you work a year or 2 years building a comedy special, writing jokes, going to open mics, yada, 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 and building this whole repertoire so that you can present it. Now that you've got the act built, that's done. You've done the work. So now it's just time to present that work. Now, where does the resistance come in? The resistance, when I sit down to write, when I want to do that audition, right? Like for her, like doing those auditions every single day, it's kind of drudgery. And, you know, once we get into it, it's not so bad. It's kind of like going to the gym, you know? Once you get into it, you get into the thing, it's really not that bad, but actually doing it, that's the hard part. Now, what we want to watch out for is when our heart says no. This is the other kind of resistance. Because, you know, resistance, for the most part, is actually going to be a good sign. It means ding, 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 ding. Oh, we found the thing that we're supposed to be doing. We need to be doing this. Now we're like, ugh, you know, I don't want to sit down and write jokes for an hour. Well, if I sit down and start writing for 5 minutes, then it goes by pretty quick, you know? And so I understand that. Now, if my heart was just saying, no, don't do it, Owen. This is not for you. You know, we don't want this. You know, the heart doesn't think, it feels and knows. And so it knows whether or not you're on the right track for yourself. If when you sit down to do something and your heart just says no, that means that you need to align with your purpose. That means that you need to reevaluate and align those things. Because the more that you dig down into your heart and do your work, Emerson, by the way, says, do your work and I shall know you. You trudge through this fear and resistance here, each one of these layers. And as you get deeper and deeper, you actually expand your locus of control, your ability to control things, as well as your sphere of influence, right? As your heart says yes, you push toward your fear, and then everything begins to just grow from the inside out. Okay. And now you have, because you've gone deep, you have more ground that you can express. You basically have built more territory, more influence, and more control over your own situation, your own life. And that's why we should face that resistance, you know, and face that fear and be okay with it. You know, fear of failure, it's okay. You just do it anyway, right? It's all right. Fear of being found out. I was so scared when I started making videos on YouTube. I thought, oh my God, people are going to find out that I want to help other people. Like, oh my God, that's a terrible thing, you know? Fear of success. This is a big self-sabotage. This is a great way to understand self-sabotage and to sit down and go ahead and do that work. One way that Vadim Zeland says it in Transurfing is he says that when you sit down, you make the table and you light the candle and you put the dinner out and you wait on the muse, she never shows up. But when you put it out, you light the candle, and then you're like, you start eating yourself. She stomps her foot outside and says, why wasn't I invited? And wants to come in. So start the work. Go toward the resistance. Go toward the fear. And begin just conquering that over and over and over again. He says that resistance is always lying and always full of shit. And so is fear. When you see that something that you're scared of, that's the opportunity to grow. Whenever you see something that you're resistant to, that's the opportunity to just do it anyway and get used to doing it anyway. Cool, I hope this has been helpful. You know, point out that resistance, point out the fear, go towards it. That's the way that you're supposed to go. You know, again, unless your heart's like, look, dude, no, this isn't for us. Because your heart and mind should be in alignment. Let the heart lead the way. Let the mind figure out how. And we'll see you guys on the next one.